Hey guys, welcome to Breaking Feud. This video, I'll be doing a spoiler-free video for, spoiler-free review for Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness. So yeah, let's get started. So unlike Spider-Man where the whole movie I had to talk about spoilers, this one I don't really have to talk about spoilers that much because I mean it's in the title, Multiverse of Madness. So in this movie, Doctor Strange deals with the whole multiverse shenanigans. So yeah, I would suggest just watching WandaVision, the Disney Plus exclusive show, WandaVision, which helps understands Wanda's motivation and the way she does things in this movie and whatnot. It really does help because this is kind of like a continuation of kind of like WandaVision. And if you've seen WandaVision, then you're all good because some of the elements in that show are kind of the key factor into this movie. So yeah, obviously this is directed by Sam Raimi. If you have seen the film already, if you haven't seen the film, this is directed by Sam Raimi. So this movie deals with like a lot of horror aspects of the whole multiverse and Doctor Strange and Wanda dealing with the whole multiverse thing, going all evil and whatnot. And the horror aspect is so good because the director Sam Raimi, he is a horror director. He loves making horror films. If you've seen his Tobey Maguire trilogy, every time when he makes this like a horror type scene within the Spider-Man films, you can feel the actual horror aspect because this dude knows how to film a horror movie in a horror scene. So yeah, there's a lot of jump scares and whatnot. So just want to let you guys know, if you guys have any heart conditions and you guys don't like jump scares or anything, just want to warn you. Obviously, with this being a Sam Raimi film, they did reference Spider-Man No Way Home because of course that movie dealt with the whole multiverse thing, and that movie also had Doctor Strange. But not just that, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man came back. The same, the one that so the same Tobey Maguire that was in his own Spider-Man movies that were directed by Sam Raimi. Yeah, he was in No Way Home, and that was before this Marvel movie had came out. The last Marvel MCU movie that came out, not including the Sony developed film Morbius, it was No Way Home, which included Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, including the two villains, Doc Ock and the Green Goblin, which in a sense is weird because you got that movie with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man characters, and then the next movie that comes out in the MCU is directed by Sam Raimi, which is honestly pretty cool. The direction and the way it was edited, it was amazing. The script, honestly, I'm not a big MCU fan. I prefer DC over MCU, but I do prefer certain Marvel films. So in the MCU, I prefer Iron Man 1 and the Incredible Hulk and the movie Captain America: Winter Soldier. Not a big fan of big I kind of prefer like smaller type films. So some films like Iron Man 1, Incredible Hulk, or films like Logan, which is more of like a tight, small type film. And I'm not big into like big superhero set pieces. Except for the Dark Knight, the Batman versus Superman, and the Snyder Cut. But this is honestly my favorite one, and I typically don't like these type of superhero films. I don't like. I was really never a big fan of the first movie. I'm not saying it was a terrible movie, but I was just never a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. I'm not really a big fan of films like Avengers 1 and 2. Just really never a big fan of the Avengers films. I was really never a big fan of Captain Marvel, and really not a big fan of Spider-Man No Way Home because it's in terms of story-wise, it was just not really good. But this movie had me excited. Excited. I was actually not as excited until I found out Sam Raimi was directing this film, and going through this film not expecting much. It honestly blew my mind away because this Marvel movie knows like how to be a good comic book film. I honestly think it's one of the best few comic book films, like one of the top 10, just because of its direction, the script, the story writing, the editing, the acting. It's amazing. Honestly, I love Benedict Cumberbatch in this movie. I love the whole multiverse concept. I love Elizabeth Olsen in this as Wanda. Honestly, everything in this movie is amazing. Amazing cast. And then obviously, Sam Raimi kind of brings his signature things like his horror elements, and obviously, coming from Spider-Man movies, he brought his longtime friend Bruce Campbell, and he makes two cameos. I won't tell you where, but he makes two cameos within one movie, which is pretty weird, but it was amazing. So yeah, um, honestly, I there are certain scenes that look so real, like, but they were all visual effects, but the way it was shot and the visual effects itself look so real. I'm wondering if Sam Raimi tried to use as much practical effects as he can, because this is a multiverse thing. So, and on top of that, this is a Doctor Strange movie, so it's completely filled with visual effects from top to bottom, left to right, every pixel. But there's certain shots that honestly look so beautiful, and I feel like Sam Raimi knows how to make things look realistic using visual effects and CGI. I love the way he composes his shots. The composition of of the shots are amazing. The cinematography is by far, I honestly think, much better than Endgame and a bunch of other Marvel films. Because you got like films like Thor Ragnarok, which is too colorful, but more on the kiddish side. But then you got stuff like the final battle in Avengers Endgame, where yeah, it was a really cool fight, but the lighting and the cinematography was not as good because it was in a bunch of rumble, which I understand, but it just looked ugly. And this movie was a really dark movie, but was able to bring amazing cinematography. So I honestly love it. Would I suggest watching this movie? Go ahead. I mean, as far as I know, I think this is one of the best Phase 4 content besides, honestly, Spider-Man, No Way Home. Honestly, as far as Phase 4 content, there hasn't been good. And when I say Phase 4, I'm also including the Sony movies, so like, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Morbius, because they kind of somehow tied those movies into the MCU. But yeah, I mean, including the Disney shows, I was really never a big fan of any of these Phase 4 contents. I think Doctor Strange is the best one. And I think it's a better solo movie than other Marvel projects, MCU projects, except for Iron Man 1, Incredible Hulk, and Winter Soldier. Other than that, I think this is the fourth best MCU film, and I think it's the fourth best solo MCU film to this day, honestly. So yeah. And this movie, you guys will like it because the way it's shot and everything is so good because it's directed by a guy who kind of made Marvel to what it is today. He kind of helped Kevin Feige become the Kevin Feige we know today. Here's the thing. So, when making the first Spider-Man movie back in 2002, Kevin Feige was the executive producer, and from there he was able to also be producers on a lot of other films. This helped him become the Kevin Feige we know, as we know, the head of the MCU Marvel division. And with the experience of making a Marvel movie, which kind of helped with one of the best movies ever, Spider-Man No Way Home. Sam Raimi was able to tell an amazing story with this. And yeah, you can see like a little bit of studio interference, but that's like with every Marvel movie, including the best one. But this one has so less to none that when you compare to other Marvel movies, this one is honestly like you can see Kevin Feige and Sam Raimi working together to make this the best possible Marvel movie ever in Phase 4. So honestly, I would say take a look at it. And so yeah. So yeah, this is my spoiler-free review. I will be doing a spoiler-filled video on this Doctor Strange movie. But I might do this kind of like a couple days later so that y'all can have time watching the movie and then kind of seeing what aspects I like, what I didn't, the cameos, the Easter eggs, and what I generally think about Sam Raimi coming back as the director for a Marvel film. So yeah, thank you so much. As always, please subscribe to this channel, give this a thumbs up, comment down below if you like this movie and if you liked any of the recent Marvel content that came out post Avengers Endgame. So yeah, thank you like always. Subscribe and let's hit 100 subscribers by the end of before the end of this month. Well, end of this year. Let's do that. So yeah, thank you and stay safe.